My sister sold me her house for cheap. Then I found out she secretly installed cameras to spy on my entire life. My sister Vanessa sold me her house for almost $90,000 under market value. Everyone said I was lucky. Honestly, I thought so too. Vanessa was divorcing her husband Marcus and wanted a fresh start. She said she needed to move closer to work downtown and did not want the stress of listing the house publicly. The place was beautiful, 2 stories, dark hardwood floors, a huge kitchen and a backyard with hanging lights over a stone patio. The kind of house I never imagined owning. When Vanessa offered it to me first, I almost cried in her driveway. She hugged me and said family should help family. I believed her. Growing up, Vanessa was always the perfect one. Perfect grades. Perfect hair. Perfect marriage. Meanwhile, I was the younger sister who always seemed behind in life. At least that was how she treated me. Still, I ignored it because she was helping me buy my dream house. I moved in 3 weeks later. The first month felt perfect. Quiet mornings, coffee on the patio, movie nights with my dog Baxter sleeping beside me on the couch. For the first time in years, I felt stable. Then strange things started happening. One morning, I came downstairs and found every kitchen cabinet open. Another day, the thermostat changed by itself. Then little things started moving. Bathroom drawers left cracked open. Lights switched on after I turned them off. At first, I blamed stress. Then Vanessa started saying things she should not have known. One Sunday, she called while I was shopping. She laughed and said, "Still buying those frozen chicken bowls?" I stopped pushing my cart. "How did you know that?" "You've eaten them forever," she answered quickly. A few days later, she texted me, "You should stop leaving wet towels on the bedroom floor. You'll ruin the hardwood." I stared at the message. Nobody had been inside my bedroom. I called her immediately. "What do you mean by that?" She paused too long. "I just know you," she said. But after that, I noticed more. She somehow knew when I worked late. Knew when I ordered takeout. Knew when my ex Aaron spent the night. Then during dinner at her apartment, she casually said, "Aaron still leaves cabinet doors open, huh?" Aaron looked confused. My stomach dropped. Because he stayed over the night before. And the cabinet above the coffee maker had been left open that morning. I never told her that. That night, I could not sleep. I kept checking the locks and walking through the house. At 2 in the morning, Baxter suddenly started growling toward the living room ceiling. Low and aggressive. Then I saw it. A tiny blinking green light inside the smoke detector. I stood frozen in the living room staring at the smoke detector. That green light blinked slowly. Wrong. Baxter kept growling at it. I grabbed a dining chair and climbed up carefully. The closer I got, the worse my stomach felt. The detector looked newer than the others. Cleaner. Like it had been replaced recently. My hands shook while I twisted the cover off. There was no battery inside. Instead, there was a tiny black camera. I almost fell off the chair. For a second, I could not breathe. I climbed down slowly and stared at it in my hand. A camera. Inside my house. My chest started pounding. I checked the rest of the rooms. Bedroom detector. Camera. Kitchen. Camera. Hallway. Camera. Every room except the bathroom. I sat on my bed trying not to panic. There was only one person who could have installed them before I moved in. Vanessa. I wanted to call the police immediately. But another part of me needed proof first. Needed to understand why. At 4 in the morning, I drove to Aaron's apartment carrying the cameras in a grocery bag. He opened the door half asleep. One look at my face and he woke up fast. What happened? I dumped the cameras onto his kitchen table. His expression changed instantly. What the hell? They were inside the smoke detectors. Aaron stared at me. You need to call the cops. I know, but I still could not understand it. Why would my own sister spy on me? Aaron picked one up carefully. These aren't cheap, he said quietly. That means she was probably watching live. That made me feel sick. Watching me sleep. Watching me cry after work. Watching private moments I never agreed to share. Every strange comment she made suddenly made sense. Aaron offered to stay with me for a few days. I said yes immediately. By sunrise, we were back at the house checking everything. Aaron searched vents, lamps, and bookshelves. He found 2 more cameras, one hidden behind a vent, another inside my bedroom bookshelf. Whoever installed them knew exactly where to place them. At 9 that morning, my phone rang. Vanessa. I stared at the screen while my heart pounded. Aaron whispered, "Answer it." I picked up carefully. Vanessa sounded cheerful. "Hey, random question. My throat tightened. What? Small pause. Why did you unplug the living room detector? Every hair on my arms stood up. She knew already. I looked toward Aaron. His face went pale too. I forced my voice calm. What are you talking about? Another pause. Then Vanessa laughed softly. You were always bad at pretending. The line went dead. For the next few seconds, neither Aaron nor I spoke. I just stared at my phone. My hands were shaking so badly I almost dropped it. Aaron finally whispered. She admitted it. Not directly, I said. But she knows. That part terrified me most. Vanessa was not panicking. She sounded calm. Like getting caught did not matter. Aaron told me to call the police immediately. This time I agreed. 2 officers arrived an hour later. I showed them every camera we found. I played Vanessa's phone call on speaker. One officer took notes while the other checked the house. When they finished, the older officer sighed. If she installed these before ownership transferred, this gets complicated. Complicated? I repeated. She put cameras inside my bedroom. We understand, he said carefully. But we still need proof she actively used them after you moved in. I felt sick again. Because technically, all I had were cameras and strange comments. Nothing directly proving she watched footage. Aaron argued with them for almost 20 minutes. The officers finally filed a report and suggested I contact a lawyer. Before leaving, one officer quietly added, "If it were me, I wouldn't stay alone tonight." That sentence stayed in my head long after they left. Aaron stayed over again. Neither of us slept much. Every tiny noise made me jump. Around midnight, Baxter suddenly started barking at the backyard door. Aggressively, Aaron grabbed a flashlight. The motion light outside flicked on. A figure stood near the patio. My blood turned cold. Vanessa. She was standing completely still in a gray hoodie. Watching the house. Aaron opened the back door immediately. What the hell are you doing here? Vanessa looked annoyed more than embarrassed. I wanted to talk to my sister. At midnight? Aaron snapped. Her eyes shifted toward me. You should not have called the police. My stomach twisted. You put cameras in my house? Vanessa crossed her arms. It used to be my house. Not anymore. For the first time, her expression cracked. Not guilt. Anger. You don't understand what Marcus did to me in this house. The air suddenly changed. Aaron lowered the flashlight slightly. Vanessa looked exhausted for the first time in months. He cheated on me for 2 years, she said quietly. In that house. I stayed silent. I installed cameras because I knew something felt wrong, she continued. And I caught everything. Now my chest felt tight for a different reason. I forgot some were still active after I moved out, she said. I almost believed her. Almost. Until she added, but watching your life there felt easier than dealing with mine. Silence. Aaron looked disgusted. I just stared at her. Because that was not an accident. That was obsession. Then Vanessa smiled weakly. You looked happy there. The way she said it made my skin crawl. Not angry. Not jealous. Almost sad. Like she had been standing outside watching a life she thought should still belong to her. Aaron stepped between us. You need to leave. Vanessa ignored him completely. Her eyes stayed locked on me. You replaced the dining table. I felt cold instantly. I never posted pictures online. Never mentioned it to her. She noticed because she had been watching. You changed the guest room too, she continued softly. The blue walls are gone. Aaron's voice got sharper. Vanessa, leave, right now. Finally, she looked at him. You think you know her better than I do? This isn't normal, he snapped. That made something shift in her face. She suddenly looked embarrassed. Ashamed even. Like she realized how insane this all sounded out loud. Without another word, she turned and walked toward her car. Before getting in, she looked back at me one last time. I never wanted to scare you. Then she drove away. I locked every door immediately after she left. Aaron checked every window twice. Neither of us slept that night. The next morning, I called a lawyer. Her name was Denise. After hearing everything, she went quiet for a few seconds. Then she asked one question. Did your sister disclose the surveillance system during the sale? No. Good, she said, because that matters. By afternoon, Denise helped me file for a restraining order. She also sent Vanessa a formal demand requiring every recording, backup, and connected account to be turned over immediately. That was when things got worse. 3 days later, a package appeared on my porch. No return address. Inside was a photo. me sleeping on my couch with Baxter curled beside me. The picture had clearly been taken from one of the hidden cameras. My stomach dropped so hard I nearly threw up. Aaron grabbed the photo from my hand. Written across the bottom in black marker were 4 words. "You looked safe here." I called Denise immediately. Then the police. This time the officers took things much more seriously, especially after they saw the photo. One officer asked if Vanessa had a history of unstable behavior. I almost said no automatically. Then I stopped myself, because suddenly memories started replaying differently. Vanessa showing up uninvited to my college apartment. Vanessa crying when I moved across the state for a job. Vanessa getting strangely angry anytime I dated someone seriously. Things I once brushed off as protective older sister behavior now felt different. Possessive. Controlling. That night, Aaron stayed again. I tried pretending everything was fine. Tried watching movies. Tried eating dinner. But every room in the house felt poisoned now. Around 11, Aaron suddenly muted the TV. "Did you hear that?" I froze. Footsteps. Upstairs. Slow. Careful. Directly above us. Aaron and I looked at each other, because we were both downstairs, and nobody else should have been inside the house. Aaron grabbed the fireplace poker beside the couch. I picked up my phone with shaking hands. The footsteps upstairs stopped. Complete silence. Then came a soft creak from the hallway above us. Aaron whispered, "Stay behind me." We moved toward the stairs slowly. Every step felt too loud. Halfway up, Baxter started barking wildly toward my bedroom. The door was slightly open. I knew I left it closed. Aaron pushed it open hard. Nobody inside. But something was wrong immediately. My closet door stood open. Clothes scattered across the floor. My jewelry box dumped onto the bed. I felt sick. Aaron checked the bathroom and under the bed. Empty. Then I noticed the window. Unlocked. Cold air drifting through the screen. Someone had been inside, and escaped seconds before we came upstairs. The police arrived within minutes. One officer searched outside while another photographed the room. There were muddy footprints beneath the window. Small ones, probably a woman's. I already knew who it was, but knowing somehow made it worse. At 2 a.m, Denise called me personally. "You need to leave that house temporarily," she said. "I can't just leave my home." "You can if someone is escalating." Escalating. That word stayed in my head. Because this no longer felt like spying. It felt dangerous. Aaron convinced me to stay at his apartment for a few days. I packed a suitcase before sunrise. While grabbing clothes from my dresser, I froze. One of my sweaters smelled like Vanessa's perfume. Vanilla. The same perfume she always wore. My chest tightened. She had touched my things. Maybe even worn them. I suddenly realized she had probably spent weeks inside that house after selling it to me. Watching, walking through rooms at night, sitting in the dark, surrounded by pieces of my life. I almost got sick in the bathroom sink. 3 days later, Denise called again. Vanessa agreed to surrender the camera accounts and storage drives through her lawyer. But there was one problem. Several recordings were missing, specifically from the weeks after I moved in. Denise's voice turned serious. She deleted certain files manually. Why? Long pause. "We don't know." That answer terrified me more than anything. Because it meant there were recordings so bad even Vanessa did not want anyone else seeing them. That same night, Marcus called me unexpectedly. Vanessa's ex-husband. His voice sounded exhausted. "She thinks you're trying to steal her life," he said. The words made my blood run cold. "After the divorce, she became obsessed with the house," he continued. "Selling it to you was supposed to keep it in the family." I sat down slowly. "She watches people when she feels abandoned," he said quietly. Then he added something that made my stomach twist. "There's something you need to know about the attic." I gripped the phone tighter. "What about the attic?" Marcus went quiet. Then he said, "Vanessa built a room up there." A cold feeling spread through my chest. Marcus explained that during the last year of their marriage, Vanessa spent hours alone in the attic. Sometimes all night. Eventually, he discovered hidden monitors connected to cameras around the house. "She watched everything," he said quietly. "Kitchen, living room, outside." My stomach dropped. Marcus thought removing the cameras after the divorce would help her move on. Instead, she became worse after selling the house. "She talked about you constantly," he admitted, "about how happy you looked there." After the call ended, I sat frozen on Aaron's couch. Then one horrible realization hit me. I never checked the attic. The next morning, Aaron refused to let me go alone. We drove back to the house together. The attic entrance was in the hallway ceiling outside the guest room. Aaron pulled the ladder down slowly. Dust drifted through the air. We climbed up carefully using our phone flashlights. At first it looked normal. Old boxes, storage bins, Christmas decorations. Then Aaron's light hit the far corner. A chair, a desk, and 3 computer monitors side by side. My knees nearly gave out. There were notebooks stacked beside them. Dozens. Aaron opened one carefully. Every page contained notes about me. What time I came home, who visited, what I ate, how often I looked sad. Some entries were worse. She smiles more when Aaron stays over. Another said, I think she finally became the version of herself I wanted. I covered my mouth. Vanessa had not just been spying on me. She had been studying me, trying to live through me. Then Aaron found the newest notebook. Inside was a photo of me sitting alone at the kitchen table drinking coffee, taken only days earlier. Underneath it, Vanessa had written, maybe if she leaves, I can come home again. I started crying immediately. Not because I was scared anymore, because I finally understood the truth. Vanessa never emotionally let go of that house. In her mind, she still lived there, still owned it. The restraining order was approved 2 weeks later. Vanessa later violated it by sitting outside my office for hours. After that, the court forced her into psychiatric treatment. I never saw her again. Aaron eventually moved into the house with me. We completely renovated the attic. New flooring, new insulation, new lights. We destroyed everything Vanessa built there. Every monitor, every notebook, every reminder. And for months afterward, the house finally felt quiet, like it had been holding its breath the entire time. Then one night while cleaning the garage, I found an old photo of Vanessa and me as kids sitting together in the kitchen. Written on the back were 6 words in her handwriting. I just wanted us close again.